Morning everyone. So this is our first night stay that we've just had in Uist. Turns out it was in South Uist. So the plan today is just to explore the island really. Ferries at 6:10 today, and then from there it's on to Barra. So the plan for today is just to have a bit of an explore around the island. So what we did yesterday is, so you can see there we got the ferry from the bottom of Harris. And we came across it at the top of North Uist. Then what we realised is that we booked accommodation right down in the bottom of South Uist, which is where the ferry goes tonight. So the plan today I think is going to be, we're going to pop out to the main town on the island, have a little look, see what's what there, maybe explore a little bit of the island around where the ferry goes, because we won't get a chance later on because we'll be in a queue for the ferry. And then I think we're going to head back up the spine of the island and loop around the other side that we missed yesterday because we came down this side. And then there's quite a lot of little offshoots to beaches and bays and a lot of little bits and bobs there to see. And there's a smokehouse and things like that we want to go and see, and maybe get some fresh scallops or some salmon, something like that. So that's the plan. The weather's not looking too bad. There's no rain, there's a little bit of wind, so hopefully that'll keep the midges at bay. But yeah, it should be much more relaxed and cruise day today. I'm going to try and get the drone up a few times if the weather permits, and yeah, and just have a bit more of a relaxing cruise based day. I'll catch you on the bike.
Okay, so we just left the digs from last night. It was the Uist travel accommodation, what it was called. It was okay. It's a bit like a hostel really. There's some rooms I think had a shared bathroom. We were in one that had its own, which was nice. Although we did find a bath down the hall, which would have been great last night when we got in, and it was a bit nippy. But there you go. So today, weather-wise, it's a little bit overcast, but it's not raining and there's no huge dark clouds. So fingers crossed, some of them might lift a little bit and we might get some decent weather. That would be awesome. The minute we're heading over to Loch Boysdale. That's probably not pronounced right. Which is classed as like the main port or the main part of the island. Used to be an old herring port, quite a busy one apparently. I don't know how much is there or is not there, but we thought we'd pop and go and see what's what. I think this morning. Might even stop and get an early cup of tea. I think the plan today is to have a lot more of a more relaxed explore and look around. Yesterday I think we both felt was quite hectic because of how much we wanted to pack in, and even with what we did try and pack in, we still missed a couple of bits that we wanted to see. So let's see if we can put that right today. Maybe it's a much more civilised cruise, see some beaches. I was hoping to take some drone footage, but the wind is now kicking up already. Some camping pods over there, nice. Scenery super spectacular again. Huge dark mountains in the front. In fact, all around actually. Looks like we're almost in a little valley. It's about 2.5 miles towards Loch Boysdale or Boysdale. So it's not far to ride. And I think when we get there we'll make a plan for the rest of the day. I think we are going to head back up onto North Uist and just see some of the things that we missed yesterday with not getting to the island late on. There's one main road that seems to run right down the spine of the island, and one of the books that my wife was reading this morning suggests that one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to just drive up and down on that road. So there's a number of little sort of tributary type roads that pop off either side. So I think we're going to probably take a few of those today and see where we end up and see what sights we can see. It'd be nice to see a lovely beach. Some nice turquoisey water would be awesome. Along with the clouds lifting a little bit. A little bit of blue sky might be nice, and there's definitely something poking through over there in the distance. Definitely looks like a bit of nice sky. I mean, it's only 10:15, so I suppose it's still fairly early. One thing we did notice on Lewis and Harris yesterday is there seems to be an awful lot of what look like empty rundown houses, and some of these houses were, you can see, with a little bit of money spent on them and a little bit of refurb, would be awesome places. Some of them had the most spectacular views. Really solid old looking houses. You know, a classic door in the middle and 2 windows either side. Really nice. We got to the point where we were almost spotting them every minute. There were so many. I don't know whether that's because, you know, people maybe pass away and the house prices are just not there on Lewis and Harris, which seems surprising, or whether there's just more properties than there are people, but I don't know. Definitely not the same on Uist so far. We haven't seen anything like that. Everything seems to have people in, and this seems to be Loch Boise, so this seems to be the centre. So I guess we'll see what's here. Well, the minute, I have to say, doesn't seem to be that much. Okay, so we're heading along. We went to see the main town area, and to be honest, there wasn't a great deal there, and what was there was closed. It seems like things tend to open about 10 o'clock on the island. Did see a little co-op though, if we needed anything. So we're heading out onto a causeway that takes us to, I think it's called Uist Island, I think, which is where our ferry goes from later. So the thought is, if we go and see that now, then it means that we've got a chance to have a little explore if there's anything worth seeing, rather than leaving it till the time we arrive for the ferry, at which point it's probably too late to have a little look and see what's what. I imagine that the causeway is going to be fairly spectacular. It would have been lovely to get the drone up, but on the bike at least it feels like it's blowing an absolute gale. Might not be as bad as when we stop obviously, but at the minute it feels like it would be a little windy for the drone. Just coming round and approaching the causeway onto Uist. I really hope I'm saying that right. I suspect I probably aren't. Feel free to put me right in the comments if I am pronouncing it like a English person that doesn't really know what he's talking about. You do get the most beautiful watercolour. On the Scottish Isles. Unreal. I mean, look at that. It's just no need for a view like that. Beautiful. There's that otter sign again from yesterday. Caution otters crossing. We will definitely keep an eye out for you, Mr. Otter. If the camera starts booping around a little bit, that's because the wind is picked up quite a bit. Things we're out in the exposed bit. Even on a sort of dark overcast day like this, the water is so turquoisey. I imagine on a cloud-free day it would look stunning. Just don't get sea colour like this in the northeast of England where we live. It's not to say we don't have nice beaches, we do. Award-winning beaches as it is. But we definitely don't get that turquoisey colour. And those pale white sands. Be a great place to own a boat. Tootling round. Enjoying the sea and the coastlines. Awesome. And it looks like the road starts to climb up the side of this little hill. I think 140 people live on the island, my wife was telling me this morning. So not very many at all on Eriskay. Not very well populated. And it's where the ferry to Barra goes from tonight, so definitely worth having an explore now when we're not waiting to check in and having all of that sort of thing to deal with. It's definitely nice to have a bit of an explore and a look around now. Right, I'll let this giant lorry come down. Don't want to be playing chicken with him. Playing chicken with anything. Oh, here's a little road that looks like it goes to a beach, and there's a camper van that came from it, so it suggests to me that it's probably pretty. Either that or it's someone's front garden. Guess we'll find out. Bala. Well, it definitely seems like it heads down towards the coast. There's a pub there. Nice. A cemetery right on the edge. A B&B. Not bad views for the people that are staying at that B&B. Twisty windy little road. Let's go right. Although it looks like we might be about to end up at a gate. Well, that is not a bad place to stop and have a little look on that beach, mind. Okay, so we're now heading towards our old Lady of the Isle statue. So we're going to go and have a look at that. But up on the top of the ridge over there, there's a Ministry of Defence artillery range. You can see up on the top there. It's like something out of a cool place to explore if you're allowed. Although with it being MOD, who knows whether or not you can actually get up to it. Okay, so we've just got to Our Lady of the Isle. The bike is parked right down the bottom there. It was tempting to try and bring her up this path, but I'm not really sure that's something that you should do. And then there is Our Lady of the Isle. There we go. Nice walk, and you get a lovely view. So we're now over the rest of the island. So this is the Hibernian Smokehouse, which that's, yeah, Hebridean, thank you, which is hopefully open. Okay, so we've just left the smokehouse. We had peat smoked salmon and peak smoked scallops with some Italian flatbread and some salmon pate as well, and very delicious it was too. Never had smoked scallops before, and myself or my wife, and I think we both agree they were pretty darn tasty. So that was nice experience. We're heading up now to the top of the island where there's supposed to be some awesome beaches. So we're now back up on the top, the north end of North Uist, and the scenery starts to look a little bit more like it did last night, which is just these little mini inland locks everywhere, and big mountains and lots of heather. So this is the bit that reminds you that you're on a flooded island, really. A nice dual track road, which, to be fair, there isn't much of actually on Uist. Most of it's single with passing. Definitely takes longer if you're trying to get anywhere. Oh, actually, and that's the end of the dual track road. There you go, point proved. Back to single track with passing. So we're going to just arc over the top, over the north side, and then we're going to barrel down the east side of the island, which is potentially the bit that we came down last night, possibly. Which was pretty, so it'd be nice to see it again in the daylight. Although it is slightly overcast and dark again. So it's about 20 past 3 now. We need to be at the ferry port for 10 past 6. And according to this, we've got another 5 minutes until we get down on the side, and then from there it's another hour 15. So should be in the ferry stop in plenty of time. We do need to stop and get some fuel first. Make sure when we get onto the really small island of Barra tonight that we're not hunting for a petrol station. And we might decide to grab a little bit of food before we jump on the ferry. So this town that we're approaching now is actually the town I thought we were at this morning. So it's this town that used to be the old herring fishing port that is it's kind of like the main town on the island, which, looking at it over in the distance, kind of makes a bit more sense because it looks significantly bigger than the one we ended up at this morning, which I think only had about 5 shops. So as you can see, the weather's turned quite badly. We've done a waterproof stop, got ourselves decked out as best we can. Put my waterproof riding boots back on, wife's got her waterproofs on. But yeah, let's be honest, it's let itself down a little. It's tanking down and it's windy and it's not very pleasant. We never did find the Top Gear beach, which is a shame, but to be honest, I don't think I'd want to go and hunt it for it in this anyway. It's very, very windy and it's very, very wet. So we're very much nice and slow, nice and steady, high gear, and just taking it really easy, because there's a lot of off-camber bends, which whilst make lots of fun in the dry, in the wet I imagine are not going to be a lot of fun. So we're just taking it easy, we've got plenty of time. Ferry doesn't go for 2 hours, and we're not anywhere near 2 hours away from the ferry terminal. Well, as you can see, the weather's not got any better. If anything, it's got even windier. There's been fairly large sections back there that we've been fairly leaned in to the wind just to try and keep it going in the straight line. And to be fair, it got me thinking that before you buy anything, and certainly before you buy a vehicle, what you tend to do is have a good look around and read some reviews and maybe watch some YouTube videos and the like. And one of the biggest criticisms of the NT700 was that it had this reputation of being a bit dull and a little boring. Now, granted, whilst my bike experience is significantly smaller than a lot of other people out there, the first thing is I haven't found this bike boring in the slightest. It's got plenty of pull, it's got quite a nice thrumpy engine sound, you know, it's got enough torque to move you along at a steady pace, and it seems quite happy sitting and cruising. But more so than any of that, in these conditions and on these roads and with this many other drivers around, I have to say, being on a Honda that's well built, well engineered, is easy to ride, has plenty of grip, helps you out. There isn't really anything else I'd want to be on right now. And yeah, I'm sure there's a time and a place for exciting bikes, but there's also a time and a place for bikes that are built well and just work. And on a Scottish Highland, in this, what you want is a bike that's built well and works, and the NT700 is very much that. Yep, go for it. Hey bud. The only one's daft enough to be on a motorbike in this.
What's that, sorry?
The only one's daft enough to be on a motorbike in this.
Okay, just head on down there.
Alright man, cheers. Getting strapped down, ready to go. And we're off another ferry. Right, so 16 minutes, 7 miles to the digs, and then we can see what's what from there. Do we stay? Do we go and find a cheeky Chinese? I wouldn't mind a takeaway pizza right now. Oh, or a Burger King, or a McDonald's, or a nice pot of warm stew, anything like that. But that might not be possible. First impressions of Barra? Nice, pretty, mountainy, lots of hills everywhere, a few little locks dotting around. Not surprisingly, it's single carriage roads all the way, kind of the same as South Uist, so at least we're used to them by now. Strapped the Honda down nicely on the ferry, which is a good job because it was a bit of a choppy sail. We were definitely doing some bouncing as we were going through. A little bit of pitch, a little bit of roll. Poor guy who's standing in front of us took the brunt of a bit of sea spray right down his back. Freezing cold. Took it in good humour though. So we've got 2 days, well, 2 nights on Barra. So we've got the first night tonight, and then all day tomorrow have an explore and a look around, and then tomorrow night, and then the ferry leaves early on the 22nd. I think we have to be at check-in by 6:10. That's going to be an early one. Disappointing factor around that is the fact that we're supposed to have breakfast that morning, and I don't think we're going to get it at 5:30 or whatever it's going to take to get there in time with the ferry. So that's a bit of a shame. Whether we can convince the lady who runs the B&B to there was a little packed breakfast maybe? I don't know. If not, it's going to be breakfast on the ferry, which I'm sure will be hot and delicious, so it might not be a bad thing anyway. It's a twisty road. Already it feels a lot smaller than Uist. Uist even. I think by now I'd learn how to pronounce that, but apparently not. The wind's still kicking around, but at least it's not raining, which is good. Although to be fair, it might as well be. My jacket's soaking wet, gloves are soaking wet. This jacket was pitched as being waterproof. I can confirm it is not. Showerproof maybe, it's definitely not waterproof. And the gloves are not even a little bit waterproof. You could wring them out. Okay, so we're going to plough on towards the digs, and we'll catch back up either at the digs or in a little bit if the road opens up and we get some views worth seeing. Okay, so obviously I spoke too soon about the rain, and that it wasn't raining, and I've completely jinxed it and it's now tanking down. I feel like it's followed us from Uist. It's pretty though, Barra. Very pretty. Very pretty and very wet at the minute. We're hoping that we might get one day of nice weather while we're here. Should be nice. So I bet this place looks awesome with a bit of blue skies. Hopefully there'll be some good drone opportunities as well, which would be nice. I haven't been able to get the drone up anywhere near as much as I'd like to, but I've just run out of time in a lot of places, or the weather just hasn't been there. It's no good trying to put the drone up if it's pouring down with rain, and if it's too windy it's going to struggle. Although having said that, we put it up twice today and there was a bit of breeze and it seemed to be alright. It's a Mavic Air 2 that we've used for the drone footage. Takes really good footage, easy to fly. Don't know if you can hear, you can certainly probably see. that we're rolling around again in the wind. To be honest, it'll be nice to get to the digs, I think, tonight and get a bit of a warm. I feel like this is the weather that we left at Uist. It's now caught us up off the ferry and has now followed us here. There's a poor guy on a bike. Awful. Oh, poor guy. Whilst we're as exposed as he is, at least we're moving a damn sight faster. I do see some guys on pedal bikes and some girls on pedal bikes, and they don't have large panniers on there. One of them we saw at the ferry terminal had bigger panniers than the Honda's got. So fair play for riding with that. There's a pretty beach. Wow. Even in the rain that looks gorgeous. Wow. Turquoise blue. Gorgeous white sand. Hopefully if we get a slightly better day we can have a visit down there. A little walk on it and see how nice it is up close. Oh wow, look at that beach. Awesome. Wow, that's gorgeous. Need to remember where this place is. Right, thankfully it's 1.1 miles and 3 minutes to the digs. My wife and I are ready to get out of this rain and wind and freezing cold. I'm starting to think that actually the weather's probably worse here than it was on Uist. Then he looks windier. It's blowing a gale. To invest in a pin lock, I think, for this visor. My decision is currently between visor down and get hit in the face with what appears to be hail. Sorry, visor up and get hit in the face with what appears to be hail, or visor down and not be able to see a thing because we just steam up. Right. Almost there. Face full of hail again. Wow. Talk about an induction to biking. Jeez, I think we've had pretty much every possible kind of weather you could imagine. It's going to be a sense of achievement, I think, when we pack her up for tonight, I say. Right, and this looks to be the digs. Here we go. Whoa, and there's a little spot here with motorbike written all over it.